Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot. This is the tarot reading that is the accumulation or the end result of 20 years plus of me doing tarot readings. In that 20 years of doing tarot readings, I have come to the conclusion tarot is not what we've been sold. People love to say, well, tarot predicts. You see that in the movies and stuff. It's movies. I don't need to say any more. In my 20 plus years doing tarot, I have found that tarot predicts nothing. Once in a while you get lucky, once in a while you'll stumble onto something, but by and large, tarot does not predict anything. What it is, however, is the science of potential, your ability to manifest. And you do manifest. You say to me, well, but I'm not living the kind of life that I want. I'm not manifesting anything meaningful. Bullshit. What you're doing is negatively manifesting. Because that's the way we're conditioned. We're not conditioned to think for ourselves. We're not conditioned to ask questions. We're not conditioned to be curious. That messes it up for the power structure. So everything in society, from the advertising to our school systems, everything is to keep you distracted, unfocused, insecure. That's the game. So when it comes to manifesting, are you going to be positive? Not really. Okay? We generally go in terms of manifesting negatively. I don't want this. I don't want that person. I don't. And much of that you get. And then you go, oh, geez, man, what a shitty life I lead. I don't get a break. You just manifested negatively. That's the way you were conditioned. That's the way all of us are conditioned. Holds us down. So my goal here in this reading is to help you to manifest in a positive direction, to inspire you. To do that, all you get is this very simple screen in front of you. You don't get anything more. Four tarot cards, one oracle card, that's it. You get together with a tarot person who starts to throw more cards on the table. It tells me they don't know what they want. They don't know what they're looking for. They're floating. And they hope they throw out enough stuff so something will grab you and you'll go, ooh, I get it. But tarot is about your potential to manifest. Why is manifesting so important? Well, first of all, you're not depending on a computer or technology, which means you're a human being. Can you imagine that? But the second thing is because you can create the pictures from within yourself, in your own head. That is kryptonite against everything else in society, especially with the robots. They say robots are going to replace all jobs within 5 to 10 years. Nobody will be working because robots can do it better, cheaper, faster, quicker, whatever. I don't know that I entirely buy that. They've been selling us a line of crap for decades now, and they got a pretty lousy batting average. But if they get you to believe it, then they won. It's a head game. It's a psyops. No, you're dumb. You're stupid. You're not worth it. We're going to put robots in your place. If they get you to believe it, they beat you. So the goal here is for you to find your potential. That's what tarot is, the science of potential. We do it by manifesting. Okay? Now, I also happen to do astrology, numerology. I've done them much longer, 50 years, numerology and astrology. Those are the science of cycles. If you know cycles, you can determine kind of where you fit. That's not predicting. It is simply going, okay, this happened the last time that this happened, and this what was going on. Do I make the connection to now? For example, again, as I've done hundreds of times already. July 4th, 2026, about a little over a year from now, we are going to celebrate our 250th anniversary as the United States of America. 250 years ago, next summer, we got people signing the Declaration of Independence. At that time, two planets were in essentially the same place they are right now. They're going to be a little bit different, off a little bit, but we're in the energy right now and have been for the past year or two. Pluto in the same spot. That's the planet of evolution, destruction, deep systemic change. And the planet Uranus, revolution, insight, a quickness, an exchange of energy real fast. So basically we have Pluto, evolution, Uranus, revolution, evolution, revolution. You see where we were 250 years ago. Well, we're here now. Same energy. People realize that we need to do both things. We need to have a revolution that helps us evolve. We need to step up. If we don't step up, we step out. That could very likely be the end of humanity. With all the things that we have to face, anything from nuclear war to robots to you name it, we could wipe ourselves out. Literally. And the people trying to control the world have said that they want to wipe us out anyway. They want to get rid of 95% of us by 2040, 2050 at the latest. They've said it. Bill Gates has said he would like to see 95% of the people on the planet now gone by 2050. About 400 million, maybe 500 million people. That's it. So we are at the precipice. And that's why it's so important for you to fulfill your destiny. And yes, each of us has a destiny. I believe that there is fate that runs our lives. The family you run into, the people that you run into, the support you get, the support you don't get, the directions that you take, little things. You look at your life and there was, geez, I met this person and then I went on this direction. I had this happen and I went in another direction. Life, I don't give a damn how rich you are, how famous you are. Life is full of fortune, both good and bad. And the astrology, numerology can spot those moments. But what you do with those moments, that's what tarot's for. That's the potential. So let's get to today's reading. We go to the middle card, the oracle card that sets the mood for the reading. It's mending. Mending. Now, normally, you would think stitching things together, putting things together. But part of mending is also filling in the gaps. If you have a hole in something, you want to put something over the hole and then you can maybe stitch it together one way or another. And that's what we're focused on. It's not the stitching part, it's the filling in the gaps part. That will take care of the mending. Number up in the right-hand corner, 52. 5 is change, 2 is decision. And the 5 and 2 together equals 7. There is some change that you're looking forward to, intellectually or spiritually. 7's to kind of rule both of those. Spiritual side, intellectual side. You are looking to change something fundamentally inside yourself. You want to mend. And you do that by filling in the gaps in your life. Here's the meme for today. We learn from history that we don't learn from history. Well, I don't think you get any more accurate than that. The guy's name is George Hegel. Said it back about 200 years ago. We learn from history that we don't learn from history, and it's true. Every generation comes up, thinks they're so damn smart. I don't care what my parents say or aunts and uncles. I don't give it. Them to make a difference, man. It's me. I know. I remember growing up, my mother saying to me, it's all happened before. Everybody has done it before. There is nothing new that you are bringing to the table. You think it's new because it's new to you. You're just a young punk, still wet, behind the ears. Nothing worse than somebody around 20 to 25. Man, they think they got the world by the ass. True. By the time they're 30, they find out not so much. By the time they're 40, definitely not so much. By the time they're, well, you get the idea. We ain't as smart as we think, and that's because we don't learn from history. We don't pay attention. We're smarter. Ain't going to happen to us. BS. It's going to happen to you, pal. Get ready for it. It's how you handle it, and that's why the manifesting energy is so important. So this is a time for mending. This is a time to fill in the gaps. You kind of know the storyline. You kind of know the direction, but there are some gaps in the message on the page. You got to fill in those gaps to get a better picture. Let me take a look at some of the things coming across the news this past week. Help you with that idea. Ran across a story that says the average American pays about $36 a year in taxes, and that money, $36, goes to fund food stamps. $36 to fund food stamps. Okay. Same American spends almost $700 in taxes for corporate subsidies. That's called corporate socialism. Socialism is not a bad thing if it is spread among the public. For example, public libraries, police, fire, our national roadways, our parks. Those are all examples of socialism. I heard years ago somebody say to me that business, what it does is it privatizes its profits, socializes its debts. And the fact that we pay about $700 a year to subsidize corporations proves the point. $35 for funding food stamps, $700 to corporations. You get the idea? Here's another story that came across just this week. You know, they've been scaring us about the bird flu, the chicken flu, whatever the hell they're calling it. Oh, it's such a disaster. Got to kill all these birds. Prices of eggs go through the ceiling. Where I live now, I'm paying $9 a dozen. You get outside the United States, they're paying $1 to $2, maybe on the expensive places, $3 a dozen. Or 2 dozen sometimes. In Mexico, I think you can get like for $2.50, 2 or 3 dozen eggs. Why the hell are we paying almost $10 for a dozen eggs? No, they had to kill all those things to help keep us safe, you know. Here's the real deal. The largest egg producer in the United States reported a net income. They paid all their taxes, everybody they owe, their workers, everybody, in their pocket, clear, over $500 million. That's triple their usual profit. The biggest egg maker, egg producer, more than $5 million after every expense was paid. It was pure profit. You wonder why your eggs are so expensive? It's not because of your health. It's because this is part of that corporate subsidies thing. They hand us a line of bullshit, we believe it, and then they make more and more and more. 3 times what the usual profit is. So when you buying those eggs, realize you've just been ripped off, you've been stolen. We learn from history, we don't learn from history. So it's time to mend. It's time to fill in the gaps in your life. Let's go all the way to the left. We begin with the 2 of Cups. 2s are always decision. Cups are emotional. You have to make an emotional decision about something. You have to make a choice. Okay? You're going to do it the same way. You're going to believe the same line of crap that they hand you, or you're going to start to think for yourselves. You're going to start to learn from history. You're going to learn finally that they've been screwing you left and right. In fact, they've been screwing us so hard, it's hard to even sit down. It hurts. So that being the case, you have to make a decision what's best for you. Because right now, the next card is the 4 of Cups. You see that? That looks pretty empty. You know that you've been abandoned. You know that you have to walk away somehow from this story that you've been fed. But as you see on the card, you don't have a clue. Nothing excites you. You're not connected to anything emotionally. the gaps. Got to fill in the gaps. You got to mend. It's right there in the card. Next card over. This is a good one to get, especially right now. It's the Sun card. It illuminates, clarifies, revitalizes. That's the kind of energy that you need to mend. That's the kind of energy that you need to fill in the gaps in your life. Again, you have the storyline. You know what the parts and pieces are. Maybe you haven't connected them yet. But that's why I told you about the egg story. That's why I told you about what we give to corporate subsidies every year, as opposed to food stamps. You know, they like to bitch about all food stamps. $36 for the average taxpayer every year. $36, that's it. $700 to the American corporation. Tells you where the priorities are. Fill in the gaps. And the Sun card will give you the energy to make that decision in your best interest so you can reconnect with yourself. You can do this. And the final card, 9 of Wands. Wands are positivity, joy, enthusiasm, gratitude. And the 9 of Wands talks about determination, talks about courage, talks about stamina. You are staying in the fight. You're not surrendering. You want to be connected to a life that means something to you, not some damn corporation. That means you're going to have to fight, probably on several different levels. But this is the time to stand up. This is the time to mend and heal. But you're only going to do that if you fill in the gaps. And that'll take a little bit of effort on your part. But you fill in the gaps, you begin to heal, you begin to get your life back. Again, back to today's meme. We learn from history. We don't learn from history. Maybe it's time. Fill in the gaps. Take a look at what these egg companies are doing to you. Take a look at what these big corporate subsidies are doing to you. Are you getting your money's worth? Are you living better? Are you living the American dream, or any dream? Nah, probably more like a nightmare. Fill in the gaps. Start mending yourself and your life. That's the reading for today. Back again tomorrow with another Tao Manifested Tarot reading. Please like, subscribe, and share. Very, very important in terms of carrying on this fight on the internet. They're playing with the numbers. All we are is just algorithms. So let's play the game their way. Please like, subscribe, and share. Back again tomorrow with another Tao Manifested reading. Between now and the next time you and I do get together to do tarot, peace and blessings.